giants understand that the upcoming events will not be bright for the dollar, and they are moving their portfolio. Look at where they are actually moving, and then watch this from IMF. They clearly mentions the economies of tomorrow and the economies of yesterday. So where is the Buffett moving? He is moving to Japan. Now that we understand that there is a issue in the economies are going down. Say if you look at the G7, UK went right -20, China -3%, India -23. Now is the time you need liquidity and resilience to back that up. Once the economy is down, you need to push back up, right? Now when Berlin is putting this one out, showing still looking to develop liquidity resilience, then you need answers to 6 crucial questions, and they continue talking about liquidity, how to manage, and those stuff. When we look that back, Berlin had conducted a discussion with Ripple and Swift back in 2019, and they came to a conclusion like this: it's time for the disruptive technology, which is huge for Ripple and XRP. And the adoption they are talking about, it's the future. And yes, we are moving into a future era. They look forward to Ripple's large-scale adoption, and that is kind of a part where we can understand that faster global payments are here. And when PayPal is entering into crypto payments, as PayPal brings the crypto payments closer, the adoption rate to kick this technology up from here is kind of getting to be prepared. Now, we do have to cover through rest of the information, which really is informational. So stay focused. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button and support the channel. If you would like to extend your support, you can use the Patreon and PayPal link in the description below. Patreon will allow you to access more value for your portfolio with different assets and to understand where in the market cycle are those assets. Now, when we step back and look at this tweet from Bank of International Settlements, we have always talked about noting keywords used by IMF, BIS, United Nations, World Bank, and other reputed institutions which play a role in the financial system. And here they are using financial inclusion again. Now I repeat, financial inclusion. They are using this repeatedly for cross-border payments. The volume and value of cross-border payments continue to grow over the last 8 years, despite the decline in the number of correspondent banks, meaning the banking chains are reducing and still the cross-border payments are increasing. So when this is said, you have to understand giant banks who are currently connecting these smaller banks for their payments for their customers are making more money. So the third party is making more money. Now you look at Ripple's insight, and they put this one out yesterday, August 31st. Why unifying payments infrastructure will boost financial inclusion. So what are they talking about? They are talking about financial inclusion, and what the BIS, IMF and always stating about is again financial inclusion related to what? Cross-border payments. If the bulb is already lit, then you got the point there. They're all going to be using a technology to enter into a new financial era where they can push the narrative of financial inclusion and enter into a new financial era where they have visibility to almost every transaction happening everywhere. Now, when I say that, you also have to understand I have a tweet here which highlights that when we were using or thinking that the privacy coins are going to keep them private, these transactions. Now this tweet highlights that US Homeland Security can now track privacy crypto Monero, meaning they are into this. So that's where I told they are looking at financial inclusion. Okay, in one sense it looks positive, but in the other sense, meaning they would be taking out the cash from the economy. Currently, even a farmer using cash can go into a store, purchase things, right? But it's not accounted into the economy. Usually that's kind of the shadow economy which is running parallel, right? The cash economy. But they are considering everything to be pushed back into the digital economy and to be accounted in the banking infrastructure. in the name of, say, cash is being used for money laundering, used by terrorists and other stuff. Now, when these are reality, they are looking at a transparency level where they would be monitoring every transaction of yours. Now, if you are in a nation where you're already executing every transaction digitally, that's already occurring. But this is at a different level. Every ledger would be connected and all your payments infrastructure, payments information would be receivable by using this particular infrastructure. For governments, it's cool. For banks, it's cool. For us as investors, what we are looking at here is the interledger protocol. When they are talking about all of these type of payment and unifying that, it's mainly becoming towards micro payments, and this is not cost effective in current infrastructure, and that's why they are working on ILP, the interledger protocol. So the pre-internet era is changing and the ILP era is starting here. Now, when we talk about that start of global cryptocurrency, they all showcase, like, say, this is a different one from Forbes India, the dawn of global cryptocurrency. It's showing from India, right? So they talk about what happened previously and how that all has evolved and how Facebook came up with the announcement of Libra and all. Now, when every realm of payments are changing, you have to understand it's also crypto. Crypto is entering into that area when giants like PayPal is entering, and you already got hints from executives of Ripple that India is loosening up. Now you're actually seeing these kind of stuff are going to be governed and used as a new financial service. Now that is for financial inclusion. Again, back into that narrative. Now, at the same time, if you really need that financial inclusion, you need to avoid those middleman from that and make every transaction real time. Now, real time payments is a push. Now that's really happening mainly in Asia. This is from Bangkok Post showing real-time payment push. Momentum is building for a regional digital payment platform that could deliver greater efficiency and economic benefits. So that's what I told. If every payment is going to be digital, you're going to take out cash from the system. Now, if your economy is -3%, -20%, and you can bring, say, for example, India went -23% in this pandemic. Now, majority of the transactions, say maybe 80 or 90% of the transaction in that country is being processed through cash transfers. Now, if that can be actually accounted back into the economy, that would be a cool push in next 1 or 2 quarters. But that infrastructure is not yet there, and it may take some time, maybe next 3 months to set up that infrastructure, next 6 months, next 12 months. But once that is ready, it should be pushing the financial inclusion narrative as well as the GDP to the upside. Now, before jumping into this particular tweet, I would like to take you guys to this one. Fed partners with MIT-based digital currency initiative. We discussed about this article previously, right? Now, why is this happening when we talk about digital currency, central bank digital currency, financial inclusion narrative from World Bank and others, say Bank of International Settlement, UN, World Bank and all? US is currently, it at least looks like US is lagging behind. If something is happening behind the curtain, that's a different story. But whatever documents we can access through research is showing that US is at least a couple of steps back. Now, that can be like they are taking a power push and leaning to take a giant leap from here. But as of now, it doesn't actually look like that because it has to be changing. Now, bank deposits fees up as consumers hoard cash. Now, I personally don't understand why they are hoarding cash. Majority of the stocks have gone down. Personally, we all would be looking at opportunities, and opportunities are like an ocean there. As I told you, if you were looking at silver, it dipped and then it went to the upside. It's nearly around 28 now. It started that journey from $12, right? So that's one side in commodity. If you look at the other side, say for stocks, you had Tesla there. Then if you are looking at crypto, there's a lot of different opportunities. We talked through all of that in our Patreon, right? Now then, main issue, we're actually talking about the legitimacy of Spark, Flare Network and Spark, how we can claim that. Now, the largest claim is 22 million. So now the final date is being announced by Flare Network as December 12th, 2020. So you will be having your time till that time. So on December 12th, 2020, Flare network would be taking a screenshot of the XRP ledger and then sending the Spark token in 1:1 ratio for all of those custodying, or whether let it be in exchange or self custody, they would be receiving the Spark tokens. Now, if exchanges are not allowing or taking in these, it's being rejected, then others would be getting more. We just saw the explanation previously from Flare Networks about this. So if you are accumulating XRP, do understand you are going to get additional value for that by December 12th and from that time. So keep on hoarding if you are doing that. Personally, I'm doing that. So it's just to show you guys what is actually happening, because the adoption rate is kicking to the next level. Now, TransferGo is already popular in UK. And whenever I talk to my friends, they are like just using the service like £1 to £2 to send money back to India, which is one of the biggest remittance corridor, and it shows you runs on Ripple. So it's just 30 minutes instead of looking at the Swift transfer for 3 to 4 days and that kind of fee. This is way cheap and the adoption is kicking to the sky high, and that is the real reason why the adoption is going to the upside. Now, we talked about the Interledger protocol, ILP, and how this is providing. Now, if you just look at this, it's kind of a bit easy based on the current system, which reduces the scalability, increases the friction inside the system. This type of now this is in the talks at Google. So at Google Talks, they are showing you the Interledger protocol and how it is the world's first system which can be itself a world bank, right? Yesterday we went through an article showing Interledger is the new world bank. So if the sender and receiver, even though they are not in the Ripple net, they can actually execute payments to one side or receive that from the other side. We heard that clearly from Ripple executives previously. They were talking about the multi-hop, the facility, how it is being allocated, and that's how everyone is going to use this. Because when we talk about all the money, you should be understanding this. Transactions being processed here are efficient enough, scalable enough, and they eliminates the errors. Because if you're looking at Swift, you have an announced rate of 6, so you don't know the reality. If that's the announced case, the reality can be 8-10% if you don't know. But keep this in mind, everyone is actually going to use this. Now, yes, you have competitors coming out, XDC, XLM, and other networks, Quant, including Quant, other networks, but the first comer, not like the BTC first comer. Now still BTC is having that store of value issue as it was the first token. Now here in the payments landscape, with this kind of adoption and initiative taken by the central banks for Ripple, it has a long way ahead, but still it is far ahead from all other projects based on the production level and the adoption level. Now that we understand the daily fundamental update here, and then look at how these are all being changed. Here they talk about creating greater global access with a unified payment infrastructure, which is ultimate long-term benefit of ILP. So you are not actually looking at something short-term. Now in yesterday's video, we talked or shared an article talking about $50 XRP in just 24 hours, and in 2 years XRP reaching $10,000. And I think many of them who watched that video just missed that area where I was explaining my perspective, my take on that one, saying it looks like a long leap from there, and for me it doesn't actually looks like the reality. But whatever the facts shared in that article talking about the ISO 20022 adoption and the rest were facts, but the price prediction was like it's a far-fetched prediction there. But what happens is you only look at the thumbnail, you only look at the title, you don't actually listen to what are being explained based on those topics, and you miss something, right? So in the same aspect, if you are looking for short-term gains, you should be trading the market. You should not be an investor. If you are an investor who is going to make money in the long run, you should be ready to wait. And when we are waiting, you should also look at the technicals and understand how this market is changing. Now, say the price went from here, the bottom, to the upside here, and we got 200-day moving average as a resistance on the weekly. Then we are making a 3-candle move down and then a long wick to the bottom, but we push to the upside. Now when we are looking at the moving averages, 20-day moving average is about to cross the 50-day moving average. So by that cross, we should be able to get a price push towards the 200-day moving average, which is again the resistance, which will be around 0.35, which will be around 0.35 range. So if we are not able to get that, say we would be looking at short-term fluctuation, which can be visible on the daily. Say here the 20-day moving average is actually acting as a resistance as of now, and if the price is being pushed down by the sellers, we should be looking at 0.25 level again. But if we remain in this area and float with this level and we are able to break to the upside, then we are going again to the top. So if we actually do that, say it will be looking like something like this and to the upside and this. So that would be making, a 3 top here. So triple top may ignite, as a bit of sellers at this moment. And if we are breaking to the downside from here, that would actually take us again 15% to the downside. Now, when we say that, you really need to understand that this head and shoulder pattern which we broke to the downside is actually targeting 15%. But as of now, if you look at that break of that neckline and the price fluctuation, we only went around 7%. So still there is room for downside in a shorter time frame, right? If you are looking at that on a shorter time frame, you will still have room for that. Say if you go into a 4-hour chart and analyze that, you would be getting that double top and looking at that price target. But keep in mind, if we are to cross, now say this is a 4-hour chart and we are looking at a positive cross of the 20 and 50-day moving average, and the price move above 0.28, which looks like the price would be supported by all the moving averages like 20, 50 and 200 on a 4-hour chart. So those who are trading would be looking at these stuff, right? They would be looking at this. Now generally when we all talk about the cryptocurrency market, we would be looking at BTC. So in that aspect, if you take, say, go into BTC chart, say we'll take a weekly chart for BTC and then analyze it, it looks something like this, right? Now there's a lot of positive news for those who are trading BTC, but if you are looking at this, say I'll just remove these indicators and show you. These are the range of close previously, right? So if you just take a horizontal line and put it there, the previous close, it also correlates with here, resistance zone, and now we are at that resistance zone. Now this is just a line showing that. If you clearly put or plot that resistance zone here, the support resistance area, you may be clearly understanding that we are above the just at the top of that support resistance zone. So the chances for a break to the upside is high. Now that being said, consider this as the if you draw the line and put it clearly, you will be able to understand that this is going to take off at least 300% from this level. And talking about the 300% from this particular level would be taking you around $40,000 per Bitcoin. Now that's moving into a new all-time high and breaking it. If you remember in the last cycle when Bitcoin broke above the all-time high, then was the time the altcoin started that bullish rally, meaning those who were investing in BTC at this time would be taking out a little bit profit from there in each of their pump and then putting it out. So if you want to look at the time frame, you can just come here and understand this break here back in March 2017 and then go back to all coins, let it be XRP, let it be Ethereum, and you can look at how these evolved. March 2017, then it started pushing, meaning not like BTC is losing the power or steam. It's just like investors are taking profit from BTC who came in at the bottom, who are watching the all-time highs and then taking profit out. If you look at gold, that's what's happening now. Majority who just drove that vehicle till that all-time high or above that will be taking their profit and looking at an asset which hasn't actually pumped yet like that. Say silver is for an option there, and then they drove it till $30. So automatically similar things are happening here in the crypto space as well. So once we hit that level, it should be like a huge bull run, at least in my perspective on the technical side. And if you are making even 1% increase in your knowledge about trading, investing, and how you look at your portfolio, that is a good step for one day. Now if you are doing same repeatedly, making that a habit, in a year or two you're going to be thinking entirely differently based on, say, in 2020 you started this, by 2022 you would be an entirely different human being as an investor. I hope you understand that point, guys. So if you saw value in the content, do support the channel, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. If you would like to extend your support, please do use that PayPal or Patreon link in the description. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.